On this episode of Lady K Sailing, we enter the historic Erie Canal on its 200th birthday. We learn what not to do at lift bridges, and we start doing some locks, and then some more locks, and then even more locks. Stay tuned, it's going to be a good time.
We're headed for adventure, our worries left behind. Taken to the water, fun rising like the tide. With open skies above us, we'll be running side by side. Come on and weigh the anchor, we're casting off the line. We're about the destination, the journey is divine. Welcome to the story of living our boat life. We're doing it our own way on Lady K. We're sailing away on Lady K.
The Erie Canal is celebrating its bicentennial this year. It's hard to believe that such an immense project was accomplished with the tools and technology in the early to mid 1800s. The goal of the canal was to connect New York City at the Atlantic Ocean with the rest of America via the Great Lakes. The canal traverses a mountain range, changes elevation by 571 feet via 36 locks, and spans 363 miles across northern New York. The canal's free this year, so we really lucked out. And it's what's taking us from Lake Erie to the ocean in just about a week's time. We chose this path instead of some of the possibly quicker ways to get to the ocean because we really wanted to see the Erie Canal. It's kind of one of the things that's on our list. Welcome to the Erie Canal. It's weird that we're the only boat that's eastbound. Actually, we haven't even seen any westbound boats either. It's very quiet. A lot of very boaty community. Like both sides of the water tend to be like houses with boathouse garages and lots of boats. It's very nice. The water's very blue. We just stepped off the boat for a few minutes there on a dock on the side just to check the oil and stuff. And you can actually see all the way to the bottom of our rudder, which is abnormal. We're used to the Thames by Chatham, so anyway, yeah, this is it. We're in the Erie Canal. Okay, a little update. We've been in the Erie Canal for 15 miles, and as you can probably see in the background, it's just like forest on either side, and we're motoring, and we're the only boat.
There's no other way for us to travel right now.
Yeah, we're just motoring along, six and change,
Yours.
6'3", and there's no other boats, there's no other traffic. There's honestly no way to know we're even in the Erie Canal except there's a mile marker every once in a while, which is just like a red triangle, and that's it.
And green.
Yeah, and the greens.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're less than 5 miles from Lockport, which is the first place with actual big locks. Like, I think they're 25-foot drop, and there's 2 of them in a row, and you got to do them both consecutively, like at the same time. You can't stop.
There is no in between.
Yeah. They're connected. So there used to be 5 locks there, and they're the oldest locks. and they're 1825 to I think 1862. Those 5 locks were in service. Like, we're talking about the early to mid 1800s. That's when they made this. So just crazy. It's crazy to think it's been here this long. So we just did the first big lock, which is 35 and 34, and it was bloody terrifying. What do you think, babe? She's not thrilled. The hardest part, because there's like ropes that come down the sides, the hardest part is to get the one on the bow, because the bow has the mast sticking out like 10 feet, and then the antenna is another 4 feet, so you can't get the bow too close. But at the same time, when she's standing on the bow, she's like 5 feet, half the beam of the boat, so 6 feet from the wall. And she's got the big boat hook. It's like a 7-foot boat hook, but you got to get a rope around the line too, which is really, really complicated without pulling the bow in, because if you do, the mast will hit the wall. So it's that was terrifying, but we made it. We did the first 2, and now and I think they're the 2 of the bigger ones, 25 feet apiece. It's not hard going down the lock. It's hard getting onto the wall and grabbing onto the wall properly with a couple of lines. So anyway, we're an hour to the next lock, so this is it.
This is Middleport Left Bridge.
Hi, we're just tied up to your wall. We're just wondering if we could sneak through whenever you guys have a chance.
Yep, I will clear traffic and push you right through. How far are you going today?
Gonna try to make it all the way to Fairport today.
Okay, sounds good. I will put you right through and you have a wonderful day.
You too, thank you.
Next time, please wait for the bridge to go all the way up and the green light to come on for your safety and my safety.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry about that.
Morning, guys. We are on day 2 in the Erie Canal. We just left Middleport, and we're now headed to Fairport. It's a good night. Middleport's pretty good. We stopped at Pony's Irish Pub. Got some deep fried food. It was delicious. Got lots of leftovers for lunch today, so that's a plus also. Yeah, no, it was a good night. Slept really well. How'd you sleep, babe? Yay!
We had the AC.
Yeah, we had the AC. That's always a plus. Yeah, so check in with you in a bit. There's not too much to see right now that you didn't see yesterday. Bye.
We are in the town of Medina. Check it out.
little fun fact about downtown Medina. They say most of these buildings were actually built using sandstone bricks, which were quarried here in Medina about 80 years ago. They also did, aqueduct coming up. They did, they exported it to like Cuba and other places in the States and England for their sandstone bricks to build other things. So that's pretty cool.
So, day 2 on the Erie Canal, it's a lot of this stuff, like the apple orchard behind me, right here. It's a lot of trees. It's winding through the backcountry. There's the towns are anywhere from 6 to 10 miles apart. So you motor for half an hour, 45 minutes, and you hit another town that has one lift bridge. You radio when you can see it. You radio on channel 13, and you let them know you're coming. And bridge goes up, go through. Bridge goes down, and you're back in the sort of backcountry again. It's very peaceful, very serene. I kind of expected from watching YouTube videos and reading and all that stuff for it to just be a lot of little towns, and it's a lot more rural backwoods kind of stuff than it is little towns. So it's beautiful, slightly boring, but I mean beautiful. It's really nice. Not a lot to do, so we get little boat projects done and things like that, and take turns driving, an hour on, an hour off, and just relax. And the day goes by pretty quickly and super relaxed, no stress. Everything's very peaceful. The only downside is if something goes wrong, there's nowhere to tie up. Like, it's rocks all the way along both sides typically. So you'd have to get the anchor down in one heck of a hurry, I think. But we're running good, everything's strong, knock on wood. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Albion Lethbridge Main Street, This is eastbound vessel Lady K on approach, looking for passage, over.
Sir, Cap, same as before, get a little closer, I'll start it up.
Thank you, sir.
Little Sheldon Cooper fun fact here in Albion. George Pullman, back in the 1840s or 50s, created the railway sweep car, which was named after him. That's all I got. Okay, bye. Holy crap, there's another boat!
We just noticed some of the leaves are starting to turn like a yellowish, orangish color. Makes us wish we would have left a month earlier. Maybe. It's absolutely beautiful. We're like in the middle of Rochester, which is a very large city, and you know it because you can hear it. You can hear the cars, and a DC-9 just went over our heads into the airport right there, and he was low, gear down, full flaps, like ready to land. But other than that, like if you look around, you can't tell. You're just in this wilderness, which is super cool. So anyway, we've been reading a lot of your Facebook comments and YouTube comments about how our mast is secured. So we've got a big yellow, like a car tie down, a big ratchet strap at the front and one at the back. And then in the middle, we have another set of smaller ratchet straps. We're going to try to hit a hardware store and get 2 more of the big yellow ones and put them somewhere near the middle so that it's just absolutely secured down to the tow rail. It's also supported in the front by the bow rail and a board that ties the bow rail together so it can't spread. And it's supported in the backs by a big X frame that's like a 2x10 X frame with bolts holding it, not screws. And then in the middle, there's a 2x6 that goes from the mast straight down to the keel step. So all three parts are secured down to the boat, and then the whole thing is pulled down by ratchet straps. So it doesn't move. Like, you can shake it and stuff. It hasn't moved at all. But we're going to take your advice and throw a couple more straps on it just to be safe.
Sorry about the wait. We like to do things really, really slowly.
Welcome to sunny Pittsford, New York, where it's pouring rain. But we're gonna tie up here for the night, and there's a variety store nearby. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna ask for a Kinder Egg. And when they say no, I'm gonna ask for Smarties. Ooh, comes a little canal boat. Just approaching the Fairport Lift Bridge, a bridge in the Guinness Book of World Records for having no two angles the same. It's lower at one end than the other. Every single thing about it is twisted. I'll show you. Oh, cheers.
Cheers.
So we made it to Fairport. It's raining. But 62 mile day. We're exhausted. Probably gonna go see our friend Dave tomorrow to take a little break. And now it's raining, so now we have to hide.
Yeah.
Just like every time we arrive in any place. The way we arrive in every place we arrive is in the rain, and we have a beer. So we're having a beer. Anyway, we hit bottom twice today.
Yes, we did.
That was fun. Rocks, not sand. We hit bottom once in the ownership of this boat. In the entire time I've had boats, we hit bottom once, and it was in this boat, and it was this summer. In Lake St. Clair, we brushed the bottom twice, and it was sand. This time,
Okay.
yeah, sand is
No problem.
Not so
Throw it
bad.
in reverse.
it's a little bit
Get out
scary.
of
But
there.
today we hit rocks, and we're coming in to tie up to a wall, and there were other boats tied up everywhere. But we came in, and just as I put it in reverse to make our boat stop so we could get lines on the dock, it went thump, and then thump, thump. And
It's every time I'm trying to climb off the boat
Yeah.
to tie a dock line.
anytime we're gonna dock, she jumps off the bow with the dock line, and then I jump off the stern. She's right about to jump off the bow, and it's like thump,
Clunk,
thump,
clunk.
thump, and then the boat
What was
stopped.
that?
And like it wouldn't move, and I put it in reverse and it wouldn't move. So I had to go on like a midship, put my foot on the wall, and push really, really hard. And our boat heeled over a little bit, and you could feel the keel come up over the rock. And then we went out a little bit, and then I was able to back up. And then earlier today, we were tying up to an unknown dock because we wanted to check the oil.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like, we came in, she jumped off the boat, started to pull the bow line, and I was just in reverse trying to slow the boat down, and it went boom. And it just like, I'm like, oh shit, get back on the boat. And then like,
Yeah. I wasn't sure I was getting back on that boat today.
yeah. And then like I was thinking, how do I get you? But I was thinking, but I thought about it later. If I
Throw
point,
me a line,
if I
I'll
point straight in, I can bring the mast over the dock, and you can climb
yeah.
onto the bow rail.
Yeah.
And our keel's halfway back, so we're
Or
good.
the mast, worst case
Yeah.
scenario.
Jump on the mast.
It's just
Anyway, we're gonna say goodbye to another day. It's been a hell of a long day. It's what, 12 hours I think now.
12 hours, yeah.
We're tired, very tired. And as I was saying, we have a friend named Dave who follows us and has invited us to hang out tomorrow morning. And he's only, I think, 10 miles away. So we can get there in a little over an hour. There's 2 locks in between, so let's call it 2 hours. But if we go hang out with him, he's offered to drive us to Walmart. The use of his car, he's just outstanding human being. And we may take him up on some of those things.
Yeah.
So, hey guys, thanks for watching this episode of Lady K Sailing. In the next episode, we finish the Erie Canal and head for New York City. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Anything you want to know, just shoot us a comment down underneath. And to those of you who have chosen to become patrons, thank you so much. Your support means the world to us.